Hi guys, and welcome to the first in this three-part webinar series where we're going to be looking at the 12 lies that entrepreneurs tell themselves that are keeping them busy, burnt out and broke. In order to ensure that you are fully prepared, please go and grab a notepad and pen and prepare to take lots of notes. I recommend this as it's been one of my own biggest breakthroughs as an entrepreneur. Wherever I turn up, watch and listen and give 100% of my attention, that's when the magic happens. Because not only do I hear the message, I also feel the message. And when I feel the message, it internalizes something within me that allows me to go and take action. And being on here today, that's what you're here for. You're not here to listen to me talking. You're here to learn some great stuff that you can go and take action on immediately. And so having some great notes that you can not only refer back to later today, tomorrow, next week, next month, maybe even next year, means that whenever you are stuck on something, you can refer back to these notes. I have got probably nearly 30 notepads on a bookcase in my house, and these notepads go back over a decade, and they record every single meeting, every conversation I've had with somebody. They have ideas, thoughts, inspiration, but also notes of every seminar and webinar that I've been to. And it not only takes note of what I've heard, it also takes notes of the actions that I'm promising to take. I've actually got a little red pen that I use, or a pink pen, to highlight things that I've put actions against, and when I do them, I highlight them, I show that I've done them. And there's nothing better than going back and going, I've achieved this, I've achieved that. So that's my recommendation to you if you're going to make the most of this time together. Tony Robbins says that repetition is the mother of success. I'm going to repeat that, pun intended. I can vouch for this. The repetition in your business is the mother of your success. So things like making notes and going back and reflecting and revisiting them and actually making sure you've taken action is what is going to give you success. I've worked with too many people who have amazing ideas and they can throw them out during a conversation and then they don't go and do anything with it. Well, that's no good. We need people who say, yeah, I've got these amazing ideas and now I'm going to go and take action, and I'm not going to start anything else until I've taken action on these things. So in my own business, I know that this has also been a real turning point for me when I have committed and followed through and got really energized and excited about the actions that I needed to take. So just a first piece of advice before you go anywhere near the 12 lies. The concepts that I'm about to share with you also are going to require a lot of self-reflection. And that's where we go and look at honest inner work. And it's the thing that so many entrepreneurs fail to address. And they're always looking for an external reason why their business is failing. And what I want to say to you is self-reflection and inner work is really the foundation block from what we're going to be doing today. The concepts that I'm going to be sharing with you, some of them you may already have heard of. Some you may have acted on. Some you may have heard of and dismissed. Some you may have heard of and thought, I know that's me, but I really don't want to work on that right now. Some of them you may never have heard of, and some others you may be dwelling on thinking, I need an answer to this. I need to figure out how to get more focus or how to be more assertive. All these concepts, whatever they are, wherever you're coming from, it's all fine because you're here right now doing something about it. And you're in the right place because today we're going to start finding answers that maybe have evaded you until this point. You may have heard the phrase, facts tell, stories sell. And so we're going to be looking at real life challenges, and I want to make this as relevant as possible to you because I'm going to be sharing the stories of a number of entrepreneurs who I know you're going to connect with. You're going to relate to the challenges that they've had in their businesses. People who've left behind corporate careers or well-paid jobs to try and become a successful entrepreneur. Their product or service is probably going to be different to yours, but actually the self-chatter is so the same on so many levels, and I'm sure you're going to equate with these people with so many things that they perhaps didn't realise were a blockage. Now, I don't know about you, whether you've turned up for yourself, whether you're here for a friend or a colleague, a partner in business, a partner in life, or a family member, but what I know is that when we do take the time out to truly stop and get clear on what we're looking to achieve, we do find nuggets of wisdom within us. In fact, those nuggets are all around us. But when we're going 100 miles an hour, we no longer see the detail. We no longer see the beauty of what we're actually going through. So one of the first things we're going to be doing is slowing you right down from your 100 miles an hour. And for some of you, this might be feeling wholly uncomfortable. But believe me, this is important. My intention as your coach is to turn what you may learn over a decade or a number of years and bring that learning process down to a matter of weeks or months. Some people have total light bulb epiphany moments where they go, oh my goodness, I now know what I've been doing wrong and how I need to change. So my intention is to preempt your struggle and provide you with an antidote to each one of these struggles that have been frustrating you, annoying you, getting in your way. Much of what I teach comes down to what goes on in your head. The things that you think that no one else hears or understands. I can assure you that these thoughts are not uncommon. And having worked in stress management for 20 years, I can assure you that these problems aren't unique to you, and these struggles aren't unique to you either. So no longer are you going to carry around the weight of your business, because now is the time to ditch the struggle and start delivering like a pro. I'm going to repeat that to you. Now is the time to ditch the struggle and start delivering like a pro. By working with me through these webinars, you're going to get a fast track to a proven blueprint. It's one that's going to make a whole lot of sense to you when it comes to achieving greatness and sharing what you do with as many people as possible and in a way that has them queuing up to work with you. I have worked with hundreds, probably thousands of individuals now over the past decade. And I've seen epic levels of burnout, and statistics prove that it's on the increase. That burnout comes in the form of emotional and mental breakdown, but also financial failure. And in fact, I would go as far as saying that this is normal in many corporate establishments. But when entrepreneurs leave to set up their own businesses, they foolishly replicate the model that was already flawed that they'd followed in business. And I have an absolute passion to nip this in the bud, because I want to give you a working template that does not mean you're going to be working all the hours of every day. In fact, you'll be working less hours than you've ever worked. You'll have more focus than you've ever had, and you'll achieve greater success. You may think this is a big claim, but I want you to stick with me on this because it is going to start making sense as we work through each of the lies. So if you are up for ditching the struggle and delivering like a pro, I just want you to comment in the comment section beside this and let me know that you're with me and that now is the time you're going to up to another level and you're going to up your game and be a pro in business. Thank you guys, that's really kind. Great, so you're with me and we're on this. So let me formally introduce myself. I'm Yvonne Williams, and my aim is to help stressed out overachievers take back mental and emotional control. End of. How I do this comes from two fundamental foundations. The first is working on the inner game, the psychology, your focus, attention, your follow through, your commitment, your fears, your phobias, untruths that you're telling yourself, and the mental blocks. And to summarise, this is all about mindset. Having appeared on ITV, the BBC, in national papers and recently on the Lorraine Show as the go-to expert in stress management, I've been given the title of the Mindset Coach. And it really does summarise much of what I do. But to be really clear on how I differ from other business coaches, I also incorporate 20 years in healthcare ops management, business project management and consulting, and combine this with the mindset element. And we look at the processes that need to support the mindset to move people to success in business. And when they work together, oh my goodness, the combination is beautiful and it really does get results. So I help people then to break down all the things that they've got to do in order to move them from where they are to where they need to be. And often this is a place of overwhelm because they really don't know how they're going to get themselves there. But they do want to be high achievers. They're willing to put in the work. They're willing to put in the effort. And it really is an equal split of mindset and also the how to. Over the years, I have worked with some extremely high performers, from FTSE 250 CEOs, multimillionaire business owners, celebrities, and also former high flyers who have fallen over due to stress, or they've just lost their mojo. They don't know how to motivate themselves anymore to success because they're tired, they're burnt out. And what makes my clients great is that when they show up, they decide that they are going to take my advice, they're going to take the recommendations that I'm giving to them. And the biggest thing that I can say to anybody is, just take one step at a time. And that's why my business name is PosStep. So I'm Yvonne Williams, the Mindset Coach, and my company name is PosStep. And that really does summarise exactly what I do. I keep people on a track of taking one step at a time, but also keeping at the fore their mindset, their thought process, and how they do things. As I work as a coach and a consultant, the whole aim of this is to take years off the learning curve and get people to where they want to be much faster and more effectively, of course. And as well as the programs that individuals and companies sign up to, I also have a ton of free stuff. So if you're not already signed up, go over to the website, posstep.com, and sign up for the newsletter, because within that you'll get lots of tips and tricks and videos and worksheets, all free. Because I realise that some people are never going to invest in coaching. But coaching does work. And I want to share with you 4 statistics now out of dozens I could have picked. But these ones were kind of the ones that really, for me, spoke to you as my audience. That I think these are going to be relevant for you, wondering, what is coaching? How does it really work? So the first one is, when people work with a coach, 80% of them report improved self-confidence. And I don't know about you, but confidence for me is underpinning who I am as a business and practitioner and an entrepreneur and employee in the past. Knowing that I can step up and deliver what I promised to made me have confidence. So it's super important. The second area is improved business management. So structurally, how should our businesses be organised? What needs to change? What should we do more of? What should we do less of? And again, business management, 61% of people who've worked with a coach reported an improvement. The third area is work-life balance. Right, I'm going to be really honest with you here. When I first set out as an entrepreneur in 2004, I would imagine I was probably working 50 to 60 hours a week on a normal week, and some weeks it was way more than that. My weekends kind of disappeared. I really was not balancing work and life at all thank goodness those days are gone, and actually now I only work 20 to 25 hours a week. And that suits me because I know that when I turn up for my clients, I am so much more focused on them. So work-life balance is a big one. And for entrepreneurs, I do see that it's more work than life. And that's boring. It's not fun. It's not fulfilling. And at some point, people get to the realization that I am doing this only to just get by. And so that is one of my primary focuses, is to really get people to look at their work-life balance. 70% of people who work with a coach also said that they had improved work performance. And again, this links with some of the other things that we just mentioned. So whilst these statistics are massive and they show increase in various areas at work or in business, there's still a chasm between the number of people who are struggling and those who actually seek help. Overwhelm actually stops so many entrepreneurs putting their hand up and saying, I need some support here. And what I've tried to do with my business and the methodologies I use is I'm mixing in a little bit of NLP, a bit of family therapy, a bit of strategic intervention therapy, and also business processes consulting. So understanding how websites work, understanding the technical elements that sit behind a business, certainly in this online arena, that is vital right now. So I balance the two of those. But I always want to bring people back to that one thing. Every session I have with someone, I just want them to work on one thing between now and the next session that's going to move them and their business forward. And a lot of clients say, Yvonne, I used to have a massive to-do list before I work with you. And now there's so much less on that list because I realised I was fannying around doing things that weren't necessary. So today I want to honour you and just say a big well done for becoming part of an ever-growing number of high achievers who actually step up and say, I do need help, I do need to do things differently, I'm not so proud that I won't take help, advice or support, I'm really not frightened about asking for help, because I know that when I collaborate with someone, it really does work so much better than when I'm working in isolation. So today I am going to give you some of my best material for showing up and being here on this webinar. And we are going to look at how you can become free and powerful in business and life. So I want to summarise the introduction to this webinar with a welcome and just say it's great to have you here. And for the next 40 minutes or so, we're going to look at the 4 lies that are holding you back out of the 12. So we're going to start off with the 4 I think are the most important. There's going to be some homework at the end. And as I said to you, taking action is vital. So make sure that your notes are comprehensive. And I'm going to be asking some things that you don't see on the screen. So people who just come in and want to quickly flick through the screen and not actually listen, they're going to miss out on some great stuff. So make sure you're getting your notes written down, and at the end of it, be prepared to answer the questions and take the actions in order to move yourself and your business forward. I'm going to tell you precisely how to succeed, how to be excellent in business and be an amazing entrepreneur. This first lie is where I think most people fail. They ask themselves what they need to do in order to succeed. The lie is, I just need to know how to do this and then I'll be a success. Most people don't then go beyond the how, and they think that's all they need to know, but it's not true. More important than the how, ever more important, is the want or the desire that sits behind the how to. So if you are in business and you don't know exactly what you want to succeed, then don't even go to work. You might as well just close the place down and take some time out and get extremely clear, why do I want to succeed in this? Let me share the story of an amazing young lady who I met 5 years ago. She had everything to be successful in business apart from desire. Her name is Carol. I met her by chance. We were networking and she told me that she had recently divorced and was about to go into business selling gifts in a rather affluent area of a small town that had huge footfall from tourism. I was really excited for her because I could see she was clearly passionate about the products that she was selling. I didn't pick up on it the first time I met with her because she was so animated. But when a few weeks later I was passing through the town, I thought I'll pop in on her and see how she's doing. I arrived to beautifully presented premises. There were plenty of different items, unique items that I hadn't seen in department stores, and I was really taken with what she had to offer. And we got chatting. She was asking how things were for my business. And she was saying, so what's the secret? How am I going to make money in this business? How am I going to be an already successful entrepreneur? When I met her on this occasion, she was extremely well dressed, and I couldn't help but spot her car parked across the road from her shop with its private number plate, probably worth £40,000 or £50,000. And clearly she'd put a lot of money into the preparation of the business. Because of the divorce that she'd gone through, she'd had a large settlement, and instead of buying a house, a friend of hers had said the better thing is to start a business and make income from that, and it will give you freedom from your corporate job. So she applied much of what she'd learnt in the corporate world. What I saw with Carol was, the few times after that I popped in to see her, she was less connected, less visible. And what I spotted was that there was another similar shop just down the road which seemed to be doing better than her. There seemed to always be more people milling in and out, whereas her shop, because she wasn't there, she'd put somebody else in to manage the store, and they just didn't have the same passion or drive. And one occasion when I popped in, I was told that she wasn't available that given day because she was at home doing the books. Now this was a Saturday, it was super busy, there was a carnival happening in the town, and I was just like astounded that she wasn't there. When I met her a few months later, which was actually, I bumped into her in a supermarket, we got chatting and I said, how are things? And she said, well, actually, they're not great. I'm really struggling. It's just not adding up for me financially. I've put a massive amount of investment into this, but it's just not working. What should I be doing, Yvonne? You're a coach. What should I be doing? And I was really straight with her and I said, you need to find your passion, your mojo, your reason, why, your desire for doing this. Like, who is your customer? Who are you serving? What problem are you solving for them? What are you giving them? What will they gain by coming to you? And I had so many ideas that were kind of brimming over, but the supermarket wasn't really the place to have the conversation. And I gave her my card, said, look me up, come and see me. I never heard from her. And a few months later, I was again going through the town and I went past the shop and it was all boarded up. And that really hurt me that she hadn't sought help or advice, because I knew that I could help her. And whenever a business owner has a weak want on their inside, they look externally for answers to find the solution. And that was what was missing with her. She was looking to the competition down the road, the economy, her location, problems with employees, lack of more cash investment. These are all outside forces that appear when the inside is weak. And as humans, we often make this common mistake. We'll jump into the how way too soon. We'll buy books on how to grow our business, how to market our product, how to copyright, how to do presentations, how to close a sale. But unless there is a really strong want or desire, then unfortunately many people get lost and don't follow through with success. Most people, when they get their businesses up and running, whatever that might be, they just come to work and they stay in the business all day and they go home. If they notice that things aren't getting traction, they start to look around outside for the answer. Maybe they bounce around from one advertising representative to another, or they'll ask one relative or another, how do I make things work? But they don't realise that a system is not what is actually missing. Actually, it's their intention to succeed. That's the thing, that spark inside them. And people can turn this whole purpose deficit around if they just check their intentions. So I have a number of questions for you off the back of Carol's story. What is your intention every day when you turn up in your business? Is it just to keep the business going, or to keep your job if you're not yet an entrepreneur? Because in order to create the business I have, I spend such a massive amount of time on my attention to detail around how my mindset is focused on that business. If your business or career is not where you want it to be, it's likely that you have something called intention deficit disorder. I'll repeat that, intention deficit disorder. What that means is that you have no real clarity about the result that you're intending to produce. And that's the biggest problem that you have, and the first problem that needs to be solved in any business. What I think happened with Carol is that she almost got to the point where she decided that her fate had been chosen, and her emotional response to it was that she was a victim of circumstances totally out of her control. What I would say to Carol if I was to meet her today is, people listen to committed people. So if she had been more committed, maybe the employees she blamed for her lack of success would have been more focused on delivering. Or maybe she would have been able to sell more items because people would have really believed her when she said this was the best thing for their auntie or uncle for an upcoming birthday. Like many small businesses in their startup phase, they believe that all the really important work has been done in the laying down of foundations. And they think once we start the business and we get it running, then we'll just come in, do what we need to do, manage things and go home. But successful businesses don't work that way. They are a living, breathing, organism. You've got to keep going back to them and just making sure that you keep planting new seed, new ideas, and new intention. And in business, when we are wanting to grow bigger, that doesn't necessarily mean that we need more employees, but we just need to grow better. We need a healthier plant. Your business will need to be continually reinvented, as will you. And that's where this desire or want has to come from. Every day, each day, the markets are changing, customers are changing, their desires, wants and whims are changing every single day. And you've got to be on it to make sure that you're matching up bigger and better than you've ever done before. So when you want to succeed, the startup starts again every single day. Every day is a new beginning, and you don't ever try and nail it down or make it just absolutely exact. You just keep that intention growing, you keep it burning on fire, and get really at the heart of being around long term. I've seen too many businesses that have been around for years that are barely surviving, and that's what really makes me so sad. When customers walk past, they go, oh wow, this place used to look really beautiful, but now it looks rough, like the carpet's in bad shape, or the place just needs a coat of paint. Or it might just be a website that's been around for such a long time, it looks like it was built in 1985, and we're now looking at amazingly fluid websites that sell and are intuitive and talk to clients. So these things, we need to get really clear on the message that we're wanting to send out there and our intent behind it. For those of you who've worked with me for a while, you'll know that I have a 3-part mantra, which is clarify, simplify, energize. And I want to summarize this lie by saying, once you get to the point where your intention is really clear and you simplify it by focusing on the one thing that you need to be doing each and every day, and that could be something different every day, and then throwing energy behind it, trust me, your business will start to soar. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, nothing great was ever created without enthusiasm. So become your business's biggest enthusiast. Go and create a masterpiece, a monument to your energy, your laughter, your tears, your heart and your soul. Because from there you'll fly, and from that level you'll become so enthusiastic about serving your customer that the how-to will kind of become irrelevant, because you'll just find a way, because you'll be so intent on delivering greatness. You can then honour your customers by delivering exactly what they are looking for. So that enthusiasm comes from taking ownership of where you're at, not how. It comes from intent. And you've done it every day as a small child, because you would have been enthusiastic about seeing your friends, enjoying life, getting excited and motivated for the life that you were living. So the boy with the Lego, he's figuring out how to do this. But actually, his intention is way greater than the how-to. And that's what I want to leave you with for this part of the 12 Lies. So the second lie is, it takes money to make money. How often have we heard this? It's when desperate small business owners are trying to go and get money to invest. And it means that often they're going for loans, or they're bringing in external characters who are going to invest in their business and obviously want to control how that business is run. Now, I don't know about you, but I want control over how my business is run. And I don't want to fall into the quicksand that it takes money to make money. It's a myth, because all it will do is get me and any of my clients who fall into that trap into deeper trouble. It happens because once you revive your cash flow with a big loan or investment, then your fresh thinking stops. The unearned money will lull you to sleep, and it allows you just to stop being creative. The whole concept of succeeding versus not succeeding is as a direct result of thinking versus not thinking. You see, anything that stops your thinking and gives you a holiday from being creative and innovative is going to harm your business financially. Unearned money muffles drive and spirit. So if you're fat with unearned money from a loan or an investment, or even too full to even push away from the table, you're not thinking anymore. You're not asking those great questions. Things like, how can we get customers this week? How can we craft an offer that is super exciting? How do we reignite our customers' passion for what we deliver? Those questions disappear. And so before you believe this myth and go looking for money, I want you to ask yourself this question. If I could not get any more money in my business, what would I do? So I'm going to ask you that directly. If you could not get any more money in your business, what would you do? Because in the end, there are always amazing ideas that sit behind those questions. They're not the ideas where you need money to execute them. If it's going to take a lot of unearned money to accomplish it, then it's probably not a good idea anyway. So just have a think about what you could do creatively to answer that question. When small business owners are struggling, they generally come up with three options. Firstly, we need to borrow money. That's the only way to inject cash, and that will help us grow. The second one is we just go out of business. Or the third one is learn the truth about what actually works in business. I had a lady who I worked with about 4 years ago now, who was running a recruitment company. She'd had her own business only for a matter of maybe 6 months when I started to work with her. So it was a fairly new enterprise, and she'd had a couple of quick wins. But then she started to realise that the whole process of going in for tenders, and those tenders only coming up every few years, meant that it wasn't as easy to get into the industry as she first thought. When she first came to see me, she was abuzz with ideas about what she wanted to implement when she first started the business, but had literally, using her words, not had the time or the money to execute them. So much certainty and enthusiasm came with this lady, but she was just getting to the end of where she could make an effective choice and an effective change in her business, because she felt like she was now running out of options, having used many thousands of pounds to get the business up and running. We did talk about the first two options. Should she borrow money, or should she just go back and get a job? But I knew that if I could really swing her round to the third option of learning the truth about what actually works, that it really would make a difference. The truth is that throwing more money at any business will not save it, because actually it'll make it worse. Money will only postpone a collapse, but it will also deepen the collapse. So it's a bit like a heroin addict who has a large dose of heroin as he or she passes through the final stages of a painful detox. You may make him feel better, but the ultimate detox has just been made worse, and the action could result in death. The only way to achieve a real breakthrough once you accept this is if your business can't make it without money, it won't make it with money. So if you don't get the loan you wanted, just be grateful, be thankful for that. I've been in this situation myself early in business when I needed to borrow more money in order to make my business work. I got some great advice, and that advice now I give to my clients. It is not true that it takes money to make money. When I found myself in that position, I went out and I sought clients in a totally different way. And this is what happened to my friend who worked in recruitment. She ended up standing back from it all and going, how do I get the low-hanging fruit? How do I go and reach out and find clients without having to go right back to spending money on advertising, waiting for new tenders to come up, etc. Her situation changed when she got on the phone and started ringing colleagues who she'd known for many years in the industry and said, hey, I've now got this business, I've got candidates, I've got people that are ready and willing to work, they've had all their checks done, they're really ready to go. If you have any placements that you can't fulfill with your guys, would you let me have those bookings and we can work in collaboration? Remember that word, guys? Collaboration. It's really good. So she collaborated with amazing contacts that she'd had for many, many years. And her business actually turned over £1 million on her own, no employees, in year 2 in business. Now, subsequently, she did get more employees and she was wise and grew that business appropriately. But she would never have believed that she could have got £1 million turnover on her own, but she did it. The second element that I want to share in it takes money to make money being a lie is that your business exists to make a profit, right? That's why you're in business. Of course, you love what you do and you want to serve the greater good. They're all fantastic things. And of course, they're all part of your desire and in your intention. But if you're not making profit, then that's not a great place to be in. The reason why businesses don't make good profit is because they don't have good time managers. Time management and profitability are totally linked to one another. Most people don't even realise that. But that's a nugget of information that I want you to take away. You can take control of your business today by taking control of your time and the plan for that time. The activities that you carry out each day need to be profitable. All of them. Every last one. So you need to evaluate the tasks that you do in any given day and then seek the truth. Is this something that's going to help me make more profit for my business or not? If it's not going to, then don't do it. If it's something that you have to do, then get someone else to do it. Because most of what you feel you have to be doing can be outsourced or given to somebody on a low wage income while you are focused on the creativity and the growing of your business. I want you to remember that you're creating a masterpiece. You're not trying to build yourself into your own prison. Most entrepreneurs do the latter. You, from here on in, are looking to seek freedom. I want you to lead from the front. I want you to be out there with your customers. But I don't want you to be covering just because someone's called in sick. When you're out there talking to your customers, I want you to get to know them, to understand what their pains are, what their needs are, what their desires are, so that you can best serve them and ensure that the loyalty from those customers is going to be had for weeks, months, years ahead. So the question comes back to this one again. Am I doing things that lead me to profit? If you are, then that's good. But what I tend to assume is that most people will now take less coffee breaks. They'll spend less time surfing the internet. They'll spend less time talking about personal matters with employees, because actually that is not going to advance the profitability of your business. There's also going to be a lot less of you, the owner, stepping up to do minimum wage activities in your business, which is a total misuse of your brain power and your energy. I also want you to become aware of 2 levels of working in your business. I'll call them levels of consciousness, because the lower level is what most people end up doing, where they just show up inside their business and do whatever it needs to undertake that given day. But the wise entrepreneur ensures that they work at a higher level of consciousness. They work on creativity. They craft the business from what we would class in coaching as the meta position. It's like the fly on the wall. They zoom back from it all and they look in and say, what is it that needs to happen to make this business effective? They no longer attach emotion to it. They're now purely objective about what they need to do to grow that business. And that is what you need to do too. I want you to also remember to protect that mental energy. You need to notice where it's getting invested. Make your business make you money. Force it to make you money. Please do not fall for the trap that it takes money to make money. It is a lie. You'll hear it from people who've never been in business or from people who failed in business. But I've never heard that phrase from a successful entrepreneur. They will always find a way to be successful. So it makes no difference what industry you're in either. So if you're listening now and thinking, oh, maybe it's my industry, I'm in the wrong industry. That is not the case at all. The bottom line is that every business needs to know this truth and learns how to get customers and keep them without outside money. But it doesn't matter what business or industry you're in. Your strategy for getting and keeping customers, once it's in place, will be more powerful than any investment of money. So I'm urging you to come through with me to line number 3 and discover some strategies that can help you grow your business. The third lie. We just need to get our name out there. Again and again, you'll hear people saying, once you get your name out there, that's it, you'll have a successful business. And in fact, advertising reps will tell you that your name recognition is vital. Your advertising must get your name out there over and over again. That's not true. Your advert doesn't need to get the name out there. All your advert needs to do is attract and get customers to come and buy from you. Your business needs an advert that works to attract the exact type of customer or avatar that you are wanting to sell to. And of course, you want to keep selling to them. The purpose of advertising is not to build awareness or increase your name identity. The purpose of advertising is to create sales. End of. So if you are spending money purely promoting your name, but you're not asking for a sale, then I beg you to stop doing that immediately. The advent of Facebook has seen many people boosting posts, hoping that by expressing an opinion or posting a cute picture of a puppy, people are going to come and buy from them because, well, more people will know our name. It's not true. There is a lot of bad information out there that talks about advertising. I think you need to become aware of something hugely apparent to entrepreneurs who've been in the game for some time. When large businesses are out there I have no doubt that they do use their name as a purpose for branding. However, small business owners, anybody under the 10 million mark, you do not need to be doing this. And in fact, newspaper reps, radio reps, billboard reps, what they do is they pitch to you like you're a large business, and they say you need to be getting your name out there. And the small business owner falls in that trap. I did it myself early in business. I'm ashamed that probably a year into business, I paid £3,000 to advertise in a national magazine. And it was in my specialism, it was the right audience. And I really fell for this hook, line and sinker. £3,000, and this is back in 2005, so it's a long time ago now. And it was money that I didn't have, but I somehow managed to pull it together, and we went with this advertising, and we did not get one client off the back of it. So what I want you to take from this is that there is no value to your business whatsoever in having lots of people who simply know your name. Because even if that advert had worked for me, in the sense that maybe a few hundred or a few thousand or a few tens of thousands of people now knew of my business name, the reality was it didn't translate into a sale. And as we know from the last lie, everything that we're doing should be moving us towards a sale. If it's not going to be profitable, we shouldn't be doing it. So to make advertising really pay for you, you need to understand what advertising is. Advertising is salesmanship in print, and it hasn't changed for many, many years. And in fact, advertising has been around as a specialism for over 100 years now. So think of your ad person as your salesperson. Make it be a salesperson. That's probably the best thing. Would your salesperson get a sale by contacting prospective customers and just saying your company name over and over again? You know, like ringing them up on the phone, whispering your business name, shouting your business name, any of those things, hanging up. You expect a lot more than that from a salesperson, and so you should also expect a lot more of that from your sales adverts. Before you ever design an advert or a flyer, I want you to ask, who are you trying to attract? What kind of customer do you really want? The same kind of talk you would have with a salesperson before sending him or her out to make a sale. Do we want a customer that will be profitable for our business, or do we want a cheapskate price shopper? One of the most important small business truths we could ever pass on to you is that the quality of your business is directly related to the quality of your customer. So to make your business successful, you need customers who are good, solid citizens who will be with you for a long, long time. And advertising is a great place to start building that kind of customer base. To press on this point, I'm going to actually share with you something that I know you're already familiar with. If you look at your own local newspaper, you'll see adverts that run in the section towards the back of the paper. Maybe you're even running one yourself for your own business right now. And what often happens is people buy into bundles in these adverts. And the adverts look something like this. ABC Garage, oil change, winter special, £19.99, expires 31st December, blah, blah, blah. It's got the address, etc. When these adverts don't work, the salesperson starts telling the person who is you, the client, you've just got to be patient. You just need to get your name out there. It's going to take a while for people to start to get to be familiar with ABC Garage. And so what happens is people like us, if we're hoodwinked by this, we end up buying into medium to long-term advertising packages that are costing us a significant amount over a period of a year, for example. Now I want to bring a caveat in from something I said earlier, and that's about repetition. In the case of advertising, repetition is not what is going to give you more customers. Because if you've got the wrong combination to the lock, the chances of opening the lock are not going to increase every time you try it with the wrong code. Or if you're dialing the wrong telephone number, you're not going to ring through to the right person if you've got the wrong digits. Your advert is there to reach people. It needs to reach them the very first time that they read your advert and that they feel compelled to respond. And so newspaper reps are going to tell you that at least 10 times or 20 is going to be about right. They're lying to you. Maybe not knowingly so, but that's what they believe. And as time passes, you're going to get no responses from an advert like this. And both you and your rep realise that the advert isn't working. Your rep may tell you that you should make the advert bigger, people will notice it more, but don't change the copy, just make it bigger. That's the same as a way to saying to you, you don't like the pie? Well, why don't you try a bigger pie? Frequency and size sound like logical reasons for people in advertising, but they're absolutely false. It's a fallacy. Frequency doesn't actually make any difference, and neither does size, because the advert's ineffective, and you're going to know that fairly quickly. So when I run adverts on Facebook, for example, I pick 6 adverts that I know have got a certain template style. I put them all out there at one go, and I monitor them like a hawk. I am watching them constantly to see which one works. And initially I'll put 6 out, then I'll drop it down to 2, the 2 that are best performing, and then I'll monitor those for a couple of days, and the one that's absolutely performing the best, that's the one I keep. And that's what needs to happen with the newspaper advertising. So let me show you now the right way, what would work to reach people, and it is entirely different in its style to the first advert, but nonetheless it's the same deal. What all of us are looking for is a deal when it comes to an oil change. I'm guessing you're with me on that one. So the advert is trying the old loss leader strategy, get a customer to buy something really cheap and get them through the door. But that advert won't attract much response because cheap oil changes are everywhere, aren't they? There's nothing compelling, nothing special, there's no sale being made. And remember, for an advert to work, it must be salesmanship in print. There is no selling going on here. But even if this ad actually gets a response, you'll have attracted someone who's purely coming to you on price, someone motivated by only price, and then you'll have the impossible task of getting them to come back again next year when somebody offers £1 less for the same oil change. So try to upgrade a price shopper and into a value buyer, and both you and the customer will get frustrated, angry, and you'll feel betrayed. Businesses do it all the time when they attract the wrong customers to begin with, and then they try and change them into good, high-value customers. You must change the belief behind the advert and the belief behind your business. What you believe about your business is what your customers believe about your business, so it starts with you. People can get their oil changed anywhere. A cheap oil change is really nothing special. So you might ask, what is special? What does someone with a car want more than a cheap oil change? There are 2 things that people always want. One is time, and the other is convenience. Time is the new money. We are so super busy right now. We do not have the time to do everything ourselves. So according to the latest income surveys, 20% of the population controls 47% of disposable income. And that means that 1 in 5 people have so much money to buy things that, relatively speaking, they're not concerned about price. Does it make sense to focus your advert's message on something that doesn't concern a big proportion of your client base? Because those 20% are your ideal customers. Money is not the main factor in their decision to shop with you. But you are. You are the main factor in their decision. They want your quality, your service, and your commitment to them. So that's what you need to give them. So here is the advert reinvented, and it's no longer about a cheap oil change. It's now recognising that they're too busy to do their oil change. Who will this advert attract? Someone who's more concerned about time than money. Someone who loses more money per minute hanging around for an oil change than all the attendants earning combined. Someone who sees the time spent waiting for his or her car as billable hours down the drain. Someone who wants to go and play golf or hang out with their kids or their spouse on the weekends rather than running errands. They are your perfect customer. In my program, Free and Powerfully Me, we actually look at the formula as to how to create the advert on the right that will no doubt get much higher click-throughs. It's really simple, but these small tweaks are the things that make the difference between a business working and a business failing. Start thinking about this method as you look at your own advertising, which brings me now onto the fourth lie. We've all heard it said that experience is the best teacher. But ask that of the woman who's just married her third alcoholic husband and whether that is true. Experience will benefit me is the fourth lie. Some people have had a lot of experience living with people on drugs or alcohol, but that does not make them better at it. In fact, it often makes them worse. If your doctor tells you to start looking after your heart or that you need to quit smoking, it probably wouldn't occur to you to offer this objection. Don't worry, doc, I've had a lot of experience smoking. Because once again, the experience is not beneficial to you, and in fact, it harms you. In business, the same thing holds true. If your experience is experience doing things the ineffective way, then your experience is going to do you more harm than good. Totally inexperienced competitors that knew how to effectively advertise and serve customers easily outperform your business right from the start, even if they have no experience whatsoever. Your experience also can put you in a rut that has you failing at key elements in your business over and over again. The difference between a rut and a grave is only a few feet. If Thomas Edison, who tried to invent the light bulb 10,000 times before it worked, had repeated that same experiment every single time and not changed anything, he would have said, in my experience, the light bulb cannot work. That's how most people fail to invent profitable businesses. They just keep repeating what's not working. Most people believe that if they hang in there long enough, experience alone will improve their ability to make their business work. It's simply not true. Let me introduce you to Diana and Andy. They started their own business 12 years ago. What they wanted to do was combine Diana's ability as a public speaker and Andy's accounting skills for the perfect combination for success. But after a few years of losing money and being burdened with big debts, they hired a business consultant who I'm going to call Rolf. What is your strategy for turning this thing around? Rolf asked during his first week on the job. Strategy? Said Andy. Yes, your current plan. Let's look at your plan and see where we can deconstruct it and put it back together so it works faster for you. What plan are you referring to? Diana said. Your success plan, your turnaround strategy. Well, we don't really know what you mean, said Andy. We're just kind of trying to fight fires around here. We've both taken huge pay cuts and our vendors have met with us to give us more time to work things out, and we just assumed... You see, we've got faith, Diana interrupted. We pray and we have faith that if we stay the course and we don't lose faith, everything's just going to turn around and eventually, through experience, it will work. I mean, it stands to reason, doesn't it, that if you do something long enough, you'll eventually get pretty good at it, right? No, that's not right, said Rolf. It doesn't stand to reason, because if you're on the wrong road to town, it doesn't matter how long you stay on that road, you're never going to find yourself in the town. It doesn't even matter if you pray or have faith in that road. The wrong road is still the wrong road. That's not what everyone's telling us, said Diana. Everyone tells you from the minute you start business that it's all about hard work and experience. It's just common sense that the longer and harder you work, the better you'll get at something. Common sense is wrong about that, said the coach. Look at your own numbers. Those numbers aren't lying. They're the only truth that you've got right now. Numbers don't know how to lie. You do, but your numbers don't. You are on the wrong road to town. And not only will this road not get you to town, the longer you stay on it, the further away you'll be. So in that sense, experience and working hard are actually contributing to your failure. Diana and Andy stared at one another. This was going against everything that they'd heard about life and business. Their consultant proceeded to formulate a plan based upon the principles that I'm sharing with you today. The execution of the plan took only 6 months, but the company became profitable. And after a year, they were more than profitable. And with both Andy and Diana, they're now some of the highest paid people in their community, and their business pays them handsomely. They were really glad for investing their time and energy in a consultant who helped them turn their business around. That's what a business is for. It exists to pay you. It does not exist to make you miserable. As you know, my mantra in business is to clarify, simplify and energize. And one of the things I've been told, people with purported experience have said, your principles are just too simple. And your success stories of things turning round are just too good to be true. Well, they got things right. The results are good and the case histories are true. And the reason that I've got a successful business is because I've had to apply these to my own business, because I've got it monumentally wrong on many an occasion. But I got to the stage where I knew unless I became entirely teachable and sought advice from somebody who could really help me turn my mindset around, I knew that I was just going to be another statistic of failed business. We have to be realists here because failure is common. I think the stats are something like 4 out of 5 small businesses fail. And that's where most of the common sense is coming from. The people who are in struggling businesses, because they talk about what they're trying, they complain, they confirm one another's worst fears. But the 20% aren't talking to you because they're too busy off holidaying or enjoying the fruits of their success. They don't have the time to give back to you. And that's why I'm here today, because I do have the heart to help you. And I know that by giving you the strategies that I've shared with you so far, these 4 lies that you can switch around to become truths in your business will make a massive, massive difference. Now, I promised to try and keep this to an hour, and I'm a little bit over that now. So I'm going to conclude this webinar. And I would ask that you look at the email that's going to come out to you now, and it's got the questions on it as to what you need to do for your homework to answer how you respond to these 4 key issues. So thank you for listening today. I look forward to seeing you again on the next webinar. If you've got any questions, if you want anything answered, by all means, whack them through on an email. I'd be more than happy to answer your questions, and I cannot wait to see you again. Thanks for listening, guys. Have a good one.